lead lead podcast. Coming off of convention, I wanted to give everyone all of the resources that you could need all in one spot. And that's kind of hard to do because we have so many lead options, which is a great problem to have. But coming off of convention again, everyone is excited to go to work. Everyone wants to buy leads, but you don't necessarily know what it is that you're buying. And I think that the interview portion of the lead seminar was great. So you can get an idea of what these Hall of Fame producers are buying, what they're using, what they're having success with, and at what rate they're actually buying, using, and having that success. But none of that can happen for an agent who's still trying to conceptualize buying leads if you don't have a grasp on what it is that you're buying. And I don't want this to be used as a tool to paralyze you through a way of analysis and figuring out what it is that you need to buy. I just want to be able to answer all of your questions in one spot so that way you know exactly what you're getting into. Your expectations are very set and clear, and you can just buy leads at your leisure. So, today, what we're going to talk about in detail is the buy per lead program. As Joe from ARM talked about in that lead seminar, it's something that we, as a company, developed with ARM, who's been our longest standing male house partner, that is. And it's been extremely lucrative because something that we identified early on was that prepaid direct mail, it wasn't successful nationally. So there were pockets across the country that produced really well on a prepaid mail drop basis, but that wasn't the case for everyone. And at the time of getting started with Family First Life, a lot of our agents were in California, and that's an area that struggled immensely with prepaid mail drop options because the return rates were super low. So what we did was we devised a strategy called buy per lead, and it is now just goes by BPL. And today there's so many different BPL options, which again, great problem to have, but it can get a little bit confusing. So let's talk about all of the details that you need to know about any BPL that you're going to sign up for. So the first important detail to know is what does BPL look like? What does that model look like? So, where we started with traditional prepaid mail, Buy Per Lead is a program that takes care of the mail on the front end. So, Family First Life and ARM, we have this partnership, and they'll take care of the mail on the front end with an agreement that an agent pays a set cost per lead as that lead comes back in. So as a lead responds, as it's created, as it becomes a lead, right? It's not data anymore. It's someone live on the other side, filled out a form asking for help with life insurance. That is a lead, and you pay a set cost for that lead. Every program has separate pricing. Some of it I'll get into, but because we have so many, it's hard for me to give you one price. So on some of these programs, I'll just be giving you a price range. So we offer buy per lead for both mortgage protection and final expense. The final expense options range in price from $32 a piece up to $40 or $42 depending on whether you're going English or Spanish. So we do have a buy per lead option for any agent who is looking for specifically Spanish leads. That's been super popular with our agents in Florida right now. For mortgage protection, we have a ton of different options. We've got Elite, Premium, Ace. All of those programs do the exact same thing where they target brand new mortgage loans and brand new refinances within the past couple of weeks. The mail is, or the data is mailed out with just general information about mortgage protection. Someone will fill out that form with all of their contact info, including their date of birth, and they'll send that back to our mail house. The mail house will upload that lead into your CRM and bill you for those leads once a day as they come in. There's also ARM and MailPro. So all of those different programs, Elite, Premium, Ace, ARM, MailPro, they all target brand new mortgage data. And then we have a separate program that is called the Retro program, which targets people who have been in their home anywhere from 2 to 10 years. So a lot of times I'll see agents like, hey, this lead says that it's brand new, but it actually is like 8 years old. What's going on? It's because we're targeting people who have been in their home for a couple of years. and we're reinvigorating that need or that inquiry for mortgage protection insurance. So the lead might have the original loan date or the record date on it, but it is in fact a brand new lead. And those are about $82 a lead. And then the only other program for mortgage protection that's a buy per lead is the call in lead program. So that's a small postcard that goes out in the mail. It's very vague. It talks about, we have information about your mortgage, give us a call. And then it has a 3 word security phrase on there. Let's say orange electric guitar. So they'll call into the phone number, they'll say orange electric guitar, and it'll pull up their record. So they'll go through a series of questions and they will answer those questions yes or no until they get to the end where it's them providing us information that we didn't know already. Like, for example, what's the best number to reach you at? Or what's your date of birth? Because that stuff is not public record. If it was, we probably wouldn't need to mail them, right? So those are all of our actually, let me go into pricing really quickly. For all of the new mortgage programs, so again, new just referring to targeting the newest loan information, those leads range in price from $65 up to $72 depending on the program that you go with. And the program that you go with really depends on who has what available at that time. So, because they're all doing the same thing, it doesn't really matter. We'll send out a list of availability across the country. And if you find that it's available on the elite spreadsheet or not available on the premium, that's why we have so many options. They're all doing the same thing. We're just trying to get leads into your hands. So, new mortgage leads are $65 to $72, depending on the program. Retro leads are $81 or 82 and some change, something like that. And then the call in leads are either $5 if they hang up before they get to the end of the prompts, or $36 if they go all the way through to the end. So now I just want to jump into some of the frequently asked questions just because you guys are trying to move and I want to help you move. And it's really hard to keep up with everyone asking the same question. So let's just go through it all in one spot. How quickly do these leads turn around? Direct mail typically takes about 3.5 weeks for the leads to actually start coming back into your CRM. And it depends on the time of year. So if you're mailing in December, that could look like a 5 week turnaround period. The exception there is the call in leads. The call in leads turn around the quickest, meaning they get you in the home first. So if you think about it, a call in lead is us mailing them a postcard and them actually calling into a 1-800 phone number versus and or them filling out that postcard and sending it back in the mail. Who do you think is going to get there first? Obviously the person who got their phone call the same day that they called in, right? So that's something to definitely keep in mind. But typically call in leads take about 2 weeks to turn around, 2.5, and direct mail is like 3.5 to 4. How much do the leads cost? We've already gone through that. On the low end, $5, on the high end, 82. You just have to see what's available in your area and let's take it from there. How do I pay for the leads? As they come in every single day, your card is billed for whatever comes in that day. So if you have multiple programs locked out, you've got final expense, you've got call-ins, you've got retro, whatever comes in that day is what you're going to be billed for. So you're not billing or you're not paying for anything up front. You're just paying as they come in. You get 5 leads that day, you pay for those 5. You get 7 the next day, you pay for those 7. As your card is successfully billed, the leads are delivered to your CRM that usually has like an hour lag. So if you see that your card was billed and your leads didn't show up 2 seconds later, just give it time. It does typically take about an hour because it's multiple processes in order to get that lead into the system. So just bear with us there. Once your card is charged, the leads are dropped into your CRM, and the CRM is going to kick you a notification that you have new leads available. With the new CRM, we actually get names. So if you're ever missing a lead, you can say exactly which lead that you're missing. Hey, Sasha, I didn't get Susan. I didn't get Susan Smith. Can you make sure that I get that lead? Not a problem. Stuff like that happens with technology all the time. I haven't seen it actually in a really long time, but just in case, we have definitely gone above and beyond in terms of the reporting with the new CRM, just so it's very transparent what you can expect. Something important to note there in terms of the billing, how do I pay for them? Let's say your card declines because your bank has never seen a bill from Buy Per Lead Inc. or MailPro or whoever. When you sign up for a Buy Per Lead program, as soon as you sign that billing agreement, you want to contact your bank and let them know, the merchant that's always listed in your billing agreement, which I would advise you read before you sign. The merchant is listed in the billing agreement, so make sure that you contact your bank and let the bank know that this merchant is going to be billing you on a recurring basis and that you authorize that charge to go through. Very often, I see new agents get started with BPL, and the first couple of days, their card declines because their bank is not familiar with this merchant, whoever's billing their account, so they mark it as fraud. If that happens, it's not a big deal. Your leads will roll to your manager, which is why your manager has to sign off on your buy per lead order. So it will roll to your manager that day, but every day starts the clock fresh. So leads will, let's say it's Tuesday, leads come in, your card declines. On Tuesday, your leads process automatically, so you can't email the leads department and say, "Hey, I know this declined. Can you just charge my card again?" We don't have a system built up to where leads are stockpiling on the back end. Every lead processes every single day, the same day that it came in. So your card declines, your leads roll to your manager. You need to work it out with your manager to get those leads back into your system. But now it's Wednesday. The next day, the leads are going to start fresh. So they'll start with you, then they'll go to your manager if you decline again. But if you successfully are billed, then your leads are delivered to you directly. What's the difference between all the programs? Not a lot, to be honest with you. There's a couple. So new mortgage versus retro mortgage, that really just refers to the age range of the data that we're targeting. Call-in leads versus all of these other direct mail options. It's pretty self-explanatory. The call-in leads are people who are calling back based off of their lead having a phone number on it. Everyone else is filling out a card with their handwriting and sending that back into a prepaid envelope, which is delivered back to the mail house that created the lead, and then it's scanned and uploaded into your CRM. You pay for it, you get to call that person. So there's not a lot that really varies here. Um, One other thing would be the price, just depending on the program that is available at the time. If I take over an order, so we call that in the in the leads department, we call that a batch. So let's say an agent dropped a county, right? And you want that county, you see that it's now available. So that's you taking over the order that someone had dropped. When you take over an order, the biggest question that I get is how old are those leads going to be? And again, as I mentioned, we don't have a system that stockpiles leads. So until, let's say someone canceled a month ago, they're still going to be responsible for all of the leads that come in as they come in. So I'll get to that as it pertains to you. But whoever locked out the county is responsible for all of the leads as they come in until someone else picks up that county in that program. So let's say you took over someone's order who canceled a month ago, and you're like, "Are those leads going to be a month old?" No, because that agent has been paying for their leads. And as soon as you take over that county, anything that comes in from that day and into the future is what you're going to be paying for. You're not paying for leads that have been sitting anywhere for any amount of time unless that is unless that's already discussed. So you've already been working with the agent and they're like, "Hey, I have these 40 leads over here. I've never worked them and I can't work them because I moved, I'm sick, I don't work here anymore," whatever the case might be, then that's something that you're handling outside of it. That's not part of your buy per lead contract. You're not committing to buying any older leads, just whatever comes in the day that you took over the program and beyond. How long are the leads exclusive for? All of these lead options are going to be exclusive to you for 30 days. That's just a general rule of thumb. Anything over 30 days, the lead is never removed from your CRM. Just a copy of it is placed into inventory so that someone else has a crack at the whip, has a chance to work that lead. So your leads are always going to be in your CRM. If you paid for it, that's your lead. If you sell a lead within, let's say, the first 30 days or even the first 45 days, right? Report that sale back to the leads department. So what's that going to look like? You're going to say leads department at Family First Life or leads at familyfirstlife.com. I sold Susan Smith. Here's a copy of either the first page of her application or a screenshot of Americo's website showing Susan Smith. And then that's proof of coverage for us. So we can now suppress that lead. We can't suppress a lead if you say, "Oh, well, I sold it," because, I mean, that's not always the case, right? So we definitely need some proof of coverage if you want a lead suppressed. And to suppress a lead, that just means that we cut off its life cycle. So it's never cycled back into inventory. No one else can buy that lead after you. That's your client for life. What happens if I cancel a buy per lead order? So let's say you were working in Florida and you decide that you want to move to Oklahoma and you cancel your buy per leads in Florida and no one else has picked up that county. There's no one on deck. No one's interested in taking over the order that you had. You are locked in to receiving and paying for all of the leads that would have gone out during the time that your request was active. So let's say it's February 13th and you say, I want to cancel this program. No more mail is going to go out into that county with your name coded onto it or your order coded onto it until someone else picks up that county, in which case it will switch hands entirely. But no new mail will go out after you request to remove a buy per lead program and a county. But because leads took a couple of weeks to come in, they're also going to take several weeks to a couple of months to actually slow down. But I can guarantee you that you're not buying any leads that weren't sent out in the mail during the time that your request for buy per lead was active. So that might take a couple of weeks. I've seen leads come in even a year after someone like canceled their order. Like, why am I still getting leads here? And it's because no one else has picked up that program or that county specifically. And typically, we're able to find someone else who will just buy that one off lead for you. So if it happens, just let us know. But again, just trying to provide the clearest expectations that we can here. When you cancel a buy per lead campaign, you are committed financially to buying all of the leads that return until someone else picks up that county. But no new mail is going to go out once you've asked for it to be shut off, unless someone else is already saying, I'll take it over. I want those leads. So I have a retro campaign and I got an email saying that it ran out of data. What happens next? So as you can imagine, just like with new mortgage, it's capped on how much data is actually available for that given week. So, and that's where the counts come into play, right? So we're looking at how many new records have come available in the past 4 weeks, and we're giving you a rough estimate of based on this many records, and we know it takes this many records to create X amount of leads. This is what you can expect in terms of a lead flow. So the same way that we're capped with new mortgage, we're still also capped with older data because there's only so much that was created between 2 and 10 years ago. So I don't see this happening. I actually do see it happening all the time, but the way that we're working with it is something that you guys maybe are not aware of. So let's say you got an email saying that your county ran out of data. We're looking back at that county every 2 weeks to see if more data has come available, and then we're mailing it again. So every other week from the time that your order was shut down, we're reassessing to see if more data has come available, and then we'll turn it back on. Jackie is really good at communicating this with all of our agents who have retro orders, whether the change, meaning that there's no more data, whether that affects your entire order or some of the counties that you're ordering. And then she's also really good at communicating when the orders turned back on. So, yeah, it's not something that you really should be concerned about. Like, when am I going to see leads again? But just know that we are looking at it every 2 weeks. And as soon as new data comes available, then we'll start mailing that for you. Why do some counties have multiple seats open or listed? This is specifically true for final expense, all counties for mortgage protection that are zoned, call in leads, and retro. So, just about everything that we've talked about so far. You might see on the call in lead side that there's like Los Angeles Zone 1, Los Angeles Zone 1, Los Angeles Zone 1. It's listed 3 times. So, what we've done there is we've estimated. What we do is we'll look at how many leads can be created in any county or any zone, and we'll go from there. We'll say, okay, if it can produce more than 50 leads out of one zone or one county, it's okay to split that up for multiple agents. If one agent doesn't want 50, 75, 100, 125 leads per month, because the call-in leads, the volume can definitely get up there. It's a really good program for volume. So we'll open it up to allow multiple seats into that zone or that county, depending on the lead flow. If a county is doing 8 leads per month, it's not going to have multiple seats available. So that's not something that you have to worry about. Retro specifically, we're working with multiple different vendors for that program. Same with new mortgage. we're working with so many different programs that we can allow multiple agents to get leads into their hands. So that's why you're seeing multiple seats. And for retro specifically, we only allow one agent to hold a seat in a county at a time. So although there's two spots available for retro, one agent can't lock out both just based on the volume of duplicates that you may receive and the fact that that's not a creditable or creditable allowance. So that program specifically is really the only program where one agent can't hold multiple seats on that program. And I think that might be it in terms of all of the questions that were asked about the buy per lead program. Overall, I would say that it's definitely a great way to lock down an area to make sure that you constantly have new leads coming into your lead flow and your CRM. It's a way to get yourself a little bit uncomfortable because of the billing is new, right? You might be get billed for leads every single day. You might get 2 this week and 8 next week, so that can be a little bit uncomfortable. And overall, I just say that buy per lead as a whole is definitely the way to go. We have a ton of other options on the prepaid side as well, which we'll do another in depth look at that. But for right now, I think I've covered everything as it pertains to buy per leads. If you do have any outstanding questions, please let me know so that I can include that somewhere that's easily accessible to other agents like yourself. Otherwise, that's it. Have a great day.